It's easy to say we need to eat healthy and exercise more. It's just as easy to say we'll start tomorrow. But our kids are running out of time. They're the first generation that might not live as long as their parents because of the health risks associated with being overweight. What can we do to help? Be the example they need. Make healthy choices and help them do the same. Let's move to raise a healthier generation of kids.
Hey, I'm Scott DeFalco for FootballChannelUSA.com. Now, high school football is by far the #1 sport in high school. The popularity of the sport has many of the country's top athletes participating in Nike's 15th annual training camp. Jake Downey joins us right now from the University of Southern California with a Nike training camp update from Los Angeles.
Well, Scott, these camps attract elite high school athletes that learn their techniques from certified Spark trainers and coaches with long resumes in the collegiate ranks and the NFL. Not that some of these blue chippers need more of it, but these kids are gaining exposure to college recruiters and getting national media attention from the likes of ESPN TV, ESPN.com, Rivals.com, and a host of others. These media outlets are here to find out how many of these prep phenoms are ready for the next level. Well, you know, I've been asking a lot of players, what do you take from a camp like this? You know, maybe if they go home with 1 tip or 2 tips, it's a successful camp. You as the organizer, how do you measure success?
I mean, a lot of different ways. I don't know if there's just one, but we just want the kids to come out and learn and compete and get better. And that sounds kind of cliche and nice, but the reality is, I mean, these are football camps, and we try to get the top guys there, and people say, hey, I have offers from this school and this school, why should I come? And our whole thing is, you know what, you never want to stop competing, and you can always get better. And we have a great coaching staff that works really hard and really tries to get these kids better. And so if they come and learn something, you know, you have a kid like Derek Woods who has 30 offers. What does he gain? Hopefully he learns something new they can take and make him a better football player. So that's what I'm looking for, and hopefully that's what the camps are about.
Talk a little bit about putting on this event and on the hallowed turf of the Trojan practice field.
I mean, SC is a great school. I love it. But as far as the camps, this is one of our more difficult ones just because the field space that we have is not quite, you know, we're at University of Miami last weekend and we have, you know, 300-yard fields side by side. We'll be at TCU next weekend, 100-yard indoor, 3 outdoor fields. So field space is a little bit limited. What that does is we have to keep the numbers down a little bit. We can't have 300 kids at this camp. There's just no place to put them. So saying that, I mean, still, it's USC. You know, it's you know, a couple years ago we had the band playing while we were out here, and that's always fun. So it's definitely one of my favorite camps. If you can get out of bed and drive from home, for me, as opposed to getting on a plane, I'm all about that. So.
And thankfully, the baseball team was on the road, so you didn't have any fly balls flying in?
Oh, no, we had baseball the last couple of years, so we didn't have to worry about, you know, yelling heads up 100 times like we did the last couple of years. So worked out for all of us.
All right, and you know what baseball scouts say to football players? What do you want, kid, a career or a limp?
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's, yeah, we don't want to deal with that today.
Talk a little bit about, you know, what ESPN Rise does in putting on these camps and, you know, what's meaningful for your group in being at the forefront of this type of evaluation of blue chippers.
Yeah, you know, it's I kind of touched upon it, but again, our goal when putting these events on is truly, you know, to not just a brand Nike. That's what people think it is, you know, and obviously Nike's does great and they're really, really good to us. It's just getting kids better and motivated, excited about playing sports. And, you know, nowadays there's so many combines. Everyone's doing a combine or a camp, and it actually hurts us a little bit just because people go to an event and they don't have a great experience. They don't want to come to one of ours. They think they're all the same. So as more camps or comments have kind of risen up over the last couple of years, it's kind of almost made it harder for us to really recruit the top guys out here just because, you know, they've already been to 5 camps or combines. But we think ours are kind of unique. You know, we stress teaching. We stress coaching, you know, we stress all the, again, sounds cliche, but fundamentals, getting better, all that stuff. That's what we really try to stress, and I think that's kind of what sets us apart from other events out there.
Talk a little bit about what you look for and what you cover when you come to a camp like this.
And these camps are great. There's a lot of, it's kind of like Christmas as far as the recruiting services go. So for Rivals.com, this is a great day because you have so much talent concentrated in one area. And you really get to see them kind of compete against each other, especially at the end in the one-on-one portion of the tournament. So if you watch the lineman one-on-ones, there's just some great battles there. There's a lot of names that you see from around Southern California and, you know, around the whole country that you don't know. It's hard to compare them to each other. So events like this, there's really good a chance. There's no paths, but there is a chance to see the speed versus speed and different guys going against each other. So it's a great opportunity, I think, to get an evaluation of all these players.
It's fish in a barrel. You may go to a high school campus and get 2 or 3 kids on campus who can play the game.
Yeah, there's maybe 1 or 2 guys. It could be 3. A big high school game, you might get a couple guys on each side. But here, I mean, you can get 4- and 5-star talent at every different station out there. So, I mean, a lot of it's great to watch the wide receivers and defensive backs, I think especially. There's some great one-on-ones there. The linemen, the one-on-ones are surprisingly good. Even though you can't have pads, it still gets pretty physical and chippy out there. And there's a lot of competition. These guys really are competing for offers. They know the guys, the big-name guys that have the offers and stuff. And if you're a guy that's trying to beat that guy, you know, like, hey, if I can beat him, maybe I can get scholarship offers as well.
And with 12,000 high schools across America and how many hundreds of thousands of young men playing high school football, I mean, how can you really narrow it down to the best 100? I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do it, but it's still inexact, as you say. Talk a little bit about what you look forward to when you come to this kind of camp that gets you out of bed in the morning.
I mean, I love to be able to get footage of these guys, and I think that's one of the things you can show subscribers where you say, well, maybe we ranked a guy at a certain level and he shouldn't be that way. If you can show footage of these guys and you can see the one-on-ones and see how they can play, how they catch the ball, how they run, all those kind of things, at least it gives the fans an opportunity, and the fans of all the different schools and the guys that want to see these players from high school, it gives them an opportunity to kind of evaluate them themselves. So if you say this guy's a 5-star guy and I can show you 5 instances where he beats really good tackles or something like that, I think that it kind of gives the fans an opportunity to see it for themselves. So I like being able to get footage of these guys, and you can kind of go back and see if what you saw is really what actually what you saw. So
we're here with longtime LA Times high school sports writer Eric Sonheimer. What are you looking for at a camp like this?
Well, there's so much talent out here. You can be very confused, and you're trying to look at the numbers, match the faces with the numbers that you've seen during the season. And it's just a new year, and you're trying to come out and just see who looks good athletically, and there's a lot of people who look good athletically. So, I mean, you can't make any final decisions based on somebody out here running, but you can make decisions that somebody looks like an athlete, and there are lots of those out here today.
Well, in this new day of newspapering, people are used to seeing your flowing prose in the paper and on the web, but they've got you doing double duty lugging this camera around too.
Right. Well, today I'm really focusing on shooting some video of people that I know are good in case that we need to use it for the fall kind of previews. And it's pretty easy because there's some great players out here from last season who have returned. And so that's what I'm trying to do today, focus on.
And these kids, after today, scatter around Southern California. You're not going to get this many good players in one place.
Right, and there's some people from way out that I can avoid going to by being here today, from Arroyo Grande, from San Clemente. So it's a good opportunity to get some video of them and to see what they look up close. I mean, I know there's some. I've seen a lot of these players: Jeremiah Allison from Dorsey, Butch Powell from Pau from Servite. I mean, these are the guys you know are good. But to me, the best position out here is wide receivers. There's just so many good receivers. I hate to see how college coaches are going to separate them.
After all these years of covering high school sports, what keeps you coming back? What keeps you interested and excited to come to work every day?
Well, the athletes just keep getting better and better as the years go by. And this, if you look at the linemen out here, it's just stunning how big they are. And people just keep getting stronger and faster, and it gets a little more professionalized, and I get a little concerned about that because these are still just high school kids, and that's my big concerns. We're out here with cameras, and we're trying to make them these big shots when they haven't really done anything. This is just going through the motions, and so that's my big concern is we don't make them too big before they really deserve to be big.
And there's always surprises at the next level, guys who fly under the radar and then become great, and blue chippers who flame out in ball of flames.
Right. Well, one of the good things about this is you get to see people maybe you've never heard of and see if they're going to be good players down the road, and that's kind of what you're looking for, some sleepers out here, and there probably are some, and it's hard to do when you have hundreds of people, but it's fun just to come out and see how good the talent is, and it is really good in Southern California.
Thanks for being with us.
All right, thanks.
That's Eric Sonheimer, and you're watching FootballChannelUSA.com. Well, many of these media types can give you chapter and verse on each athlete in their top 100, down to their GPA, their SAT score, their 40 time, their height, their weight, their bench press, their squat, and Oh yeah, most importantly, the final 5 schools on their list. And for that lesser recruited athlete that's here, it's a chance to get on a few schools' radar screens in that critical time before the senior season of football kicks off. At USC at the Nike camp, I'm Jake Downey reporting for FootballChannelUSA.com.
All right, thanks for another killer report, Jake. Don't forget, check with your local high school coaches to see if you've been invited to the next Nike football training camp. And also don't forget, you're watching FootballChannelUSA.com, the home for youth football.